Dear student, I am going to discuss inverse trigonometry function and part 1 in this video session and presented by S. Murugayan. What is invertible function? So the invertible function should be 1 to 1 as well as on to. We had already discussed in the first chapters. So any bijective function can be invertible function, and only for invertible function inverse exists. So how to understand the inverse of the invertible function? Simply we have to interchange domain and range. So any function f mapping from x and into y is said to be an invertible function if it is a bijection and there exists a function f inverse mapping from y to x. We are interchanging such that the two type of composition, f composition of f inverse of y equal to y, this is identity function in the set of y. The second one, f inverse composition f of x equal to x, this is also another identity function in set of all x. So and based on the domain and range we can classify and 6 inverse trigonometry function and sine inverse x, cos inverse x, tan inverse x, cosecant inverse x, secant inverse x and cot inverse x. So the domain and range of sine inverse x, domain minus 1 to 1 close interval, a range also close interval minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. Cos inverse x, the domain minus 1 to 1 and range 0 to pi. Tan inverse x, domain the set of all real numbers and range open interval minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. And cosecant inverse x, a domain set of all real numbers except the open interval minus 1 to 1 and range the interval from minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2 except the entity 0, except the element 0. For secant inverse x, a domain r minus of the open interval minus 1 to 1 and range all numbers between the closed interval 0 to pi except and pi by 2. And for cot inverse x, a domain is set of all real numbers and range open interval 0 comma pi. If you look at the graph of sine inverse x, so we had discussed in the previous slide the domain between minus 1 to 1 closed interval and range from minus 5 by 2 plus 5 by 2. So along y-axis range minus 5 by 2 plus 5 by 2, along x-axis domain minus 1 to 1. So in the two endpoints of the graph, on the left side the starting point and x coordinate minus 1, y coordinate minus 5 by 2. So minus 1 comma minus 5 by 2, the end point of the graph, and x equal to plus 1 and y equal to plus 5 by 2. We will continue to discuss other graph. So this is a graph of cos inverse x. The domain of cos inverse x, look at the graph, and minus 1 to 1 close interval, but range close interval 0 to pi radian. 0 to pi radian. So this is cos inverse graph. So this graph for tan inverse x, along x-axis it cover all real numbers. So the domain of a tan inverse x, set of all real numbers, and vertically, and y equal to plus 5 by 2 and y equal to minus 5 by 2, the dotted line represent asymptotes. What is the meaning of asymptote? The tangent drawn to the given and curve at the infinity distance. It won't touch at all. It will have the tendency of touching the graph at the infinity distance. So based on the position of the asymptotes, we can draw the graph easily. So we have to approach very closer to the asymptote. So this is a graph of tan inverse x, and domain and set of all real numbers and range minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. Yes, asymptote open interval. This graph related to cosecant inverse x. Look at the graph. There is no graph between x equal to minus 1 and x equal to plus 1. So the domain is set of all real numbers except the open interval minus 1 to 1. along y-axis vertically y equal to 0, entire x-axis left. So x-axis or y equal to 0 for this graph considered as asymptote. So the tendency of the graph very close to x-axis and from minus pi by 2 and as well as from plus pi by 2 towards and y equal to 0 and minus pi by 2 towards y equal to 0. So what is the range? On the range from minus pi by 2 plus pi by 2 except the value 0, except 0. So minus pi by 2 plus pi by 2 except 0 is the range, and domain set of all real numbers except the open interval minus 1 to plus 1. This is a graph of secant inverse x. So in secant inverse x also horizontally the open interval minus 1 to 1 is left out. So the range of secant inverse x, set of all real numbers except minus 1 to and plus 1, and vertically and 0 to pi except y equal to pi by 2. So y equal to pi by 2 here asymptotes. So the graph of cosecant inverse x very close to y equal to pi by 2, it won't touch at all. That's why y equal to pi by 2 is asymptote, and range of the secant inverse x 0 to pi except pi by 2. If you look at the graph of cot inverse x, y equal to 0 and y equal to pi, vertically the horizontal line y equal to 0, that is x-axis, and another horizontal line y equal to pi are the two asymptotes of the cot inverse x. So at infinity distance the asymptote and has a tendency of touching the graph of cot inverse x. So the range is open interval 0 to pi, but horizontally all values are included. So the domain of cot inverse of x, set of all real numbers. So we can discuss now properties of inverse trigonometry function. This particular property, so dealing with the negative x. So first property, sine inverse of negative x, negative sine inverse of x. Why? Because the negative x is a negative value. For sine theta, the negative value lies in and fourth quadrant, because the domain minus pi by 2 plus pi by 2, in the fourth quadrant minus pi by 2 0 negative and 0 to pi by 2 positive. So sine inverse of negative x equal to negative sine inverse of x, and cosecant also cosecant inverse of negative x equal to negative of cosecant inverse x. What is the meaning of negative sine inverse of x? Negative angle. So negative angle with respect to sine invertible function in fourth quadrant, as well as for the negative angle with respect to cosecant invertible function also lies in fourth quadrant. But in case of the cos invertible function, the 0 to pi, it covers first quadrant and second quadrant. So the negative angle, the negative values lies in second quadrant. Because of second quadrant, cos inverse of minus x equal to pi by 2, I think pi minus cos inverse of x. Cos inverse of minus x equal to pi minus cos inverse of x. Similarly, for secant inverse of minus x also, pi minus secant inverse of x. What is the meaning of pi minus secant inverse x? Second quadrant. In the second quadrant alone, the secant value negative. Minus x means secant theta. So secant theta is minus x. Negative means angle should lie in the second quadrant. So pi minus secant inverse x. The same way, and tan inverse of minus x. Tan theta here, negative tan theta mean for the negative tan theta, then theta should lie in fourth quadrant. In the fourth quadrant, and tan theta is negative. We need not discuss now second quadrant. Why? Because the range of tan inverse of x cover fourth quadrant and first quadrant. Open interval minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. That's why the negative tan theta lies in fourth quadrant. So tan inverse of minus x equal to minus tan inverse of x. And cot inverse of minus x in the second quadrant. Because for cot, what is the range of the cot? 0 to pi. Open interval. 0 to pi open interval means it covers first quadrant and the second quadrant. In the second quadrant, and cot ratio is negative. So cot inverse of minus x equal to pi minus cot inverse x. So we can see the proof of sin inverse of minus x equal to minus sin inverse of x, and cos inverse of minus x equal to pi minus cos inverse x, in detail in the next slide. Show that sin inverse of minus x equal to minus sin x. So in order to prove this result, let us take x equal to sin theta. This assumption x equal to sin theta, but the question negative x, so multiply both sides by minus, negative x equal to negative sin theta. From trigonometric identity from 11th standard, we knew that minus sin theta is sine of minus theta is minus x. If we introduce sine inverse on both sides, then sine inverse of negative x equal to negative theta. So x equal to sine theta, then theta will be equal to sine inverse x. So negative theta is nothing but sine inverse x. Hence the proof. The second question, show that cos inverse of minus x equal to pi minus cos inverse x. So the same way we can prove the result. Let us assume x equal to cos theta, then minus x equal to minus cos theta. So minus cos theta can be written, and cos of second quadrant angle. The second quadrant angle pi minus theta. So cos of pi minus theta or cos of 180 minus theta minus cos theta. Yes, pi minus theta belongs to second quadrant whenever theta is acute angle. So minus x. If we introduce cos inverse on the entire equation, and cos inverse of negative x equal to and pi minus theta, as we discussed in the first question, x equal to sin theta and then theta equal to sin inverse of x. Here also x equal to cos theta and then theta will be cos inverse x. So cos inverse x. Hence the proof. The second set of property for reciprocal of trigonometric function, sin inverse of 1 by x. So x equal to sin theta means 1 by x is 1 by sin theta. 1 by sin theta is cosecant theta. So sin inverse of cosecant theta, cosecant inverse of sin theta. This is the meaning of the property. So sin inverse of 1 by x equal to cosecant inverse of x, and cosecant inverse of 1 by x reverse sin inverse of x. This is the first set. The second set, cos inverse of 1 by x is secant inverse of x, or in the reverse direction, secant inverse of 1 by x will be equal to cos inverse x. So the third set of property, that is a tan inverse of 1 by x equal to cot inverse of x. If we look at the same property in the reverse direction, cot inverse of 1 by x is a tan inverse x. So to avoid confusion over the property 2, look at, we have given proof of one result. So first one, sin inverse of 1 by x equal to cosecant inverse of x. How to get the proof? So the sin inverse of 1 by x or cosecant inverse x. The x is directly connected to cosecant inverse of x. So we can start with the assumption x equal to cosecant theta. X equal to cosecant theta. Next step, taking reciprocal on the entire equation. Reciprocal of x 1 by x left side, reciprocal of cosecant theta sin x on the right side. Now if we introduce Sine inverse on this equation 1 by x equal to sine theta. Left side becomes sine inverse of 1 by x. Right side sine inverse of sine theta is theta alone. So theta is nothing but cosecant inverse of x. Why? Because from our assumption we took x equal to cosecant theta. Whenever x equal to cosecant theta, theta should be cosecant inverse of x. So replaced cosecant inverse of x replaces theta. So that's why we have got the result sine inverse of 1 by x equal to cosecant inverse of x. This is the proof of the first set. So similar proof can be done by yourself and practice. The next set of property generally known as complementary angles, like in 11th standard trigonometry, complementary angle. So sin theta equal to cos of 90 minus theta, or secant theta equal to cosecant of 90 minus theta, or tan theta equal to cot of 90 minus theta. The same way, theta 1 theta 2 are complementary angle. Sin theta 1 plus cos theta 1 equal to pi by 2. So on the same property, so here the theta 1 plus theta 2 equal to 90. Theta 1 is sin inverse x and theta 2 cos inverse x. So sin inverse x plus cos inverse x equal to pi by 2. One set of complementary property. The second set of complementary property, cosecant and secant. Cosecant inverse x plus secant inverse x always pi by 2 only in the domain. And third property, tan inverse x plus cot inverse x equal to pi by 2. All the three property applicable only in the respective domain. And one more very important property you have to remember. And to add tan inverse x plus tan inverse y, we have to look at the quantity x and y. The product x and y is greater than 1, and do the conversion. Whenever the product x into y is greater than 1, the first term tan inverse x should be conversed separately. Pi by 2 minus tan inverse of 1 by x, take reciprocal. As well as the second term tan inverse of y also should be written pi by 2 minus tan inverse of 1 by y. Combining together pi by 2 and pi by 2, pi minus of within the bracket tan inverse of reciprocal of first variable x plus tan inverse of reciprocal of second variable. So when to apply this kind of conversion, the product of the two quantity x and y exceed 1. Whenever the product xy exceed 1, and follow this is very important. Okay. And general formula, in case the x into y is not greater than 1, less than 1, mean we can follow the general formula tan inverse x plus tan inverse y equal to tan inverse of x plus y, so divided by 1 minus xy. If xy is less than 1, here the quantity product should be less than 1. The difference of 2, tan inverse x minus tan inverse y, straight away we can apply the property tan inverse of the numerator x minus y, the denominator 1 plus xy. The first one, tan inverse x plus tan inverse y, means the numerator x plus y, the denominator 1 minus x minus y. These two and properties are formula derived based on and tan of a plus b formula as well as a tan of a minus b formula. We will see now one example problem. Prove that tan inverse 1 plus tan inverse 2 plus tan inverse 3 equal to pi based on the property discussed in the previous slide. Show that tan inverse 1 plus tan inverse 2 plus tan inverse 3 equal to pi. So we can take and tan inverse 2 plus tan inverse 3 plus tan inverse 1. So we can group tan inverse 2 and tan inverse 3 one group. Tan inverse 2 plus tan inverse 3 plus tan inverse 1. We apply associative law. Then tan inverse 2, tan inverse 3 within the bracket, and 2 into 3, 6 is greater than 1. Whenever the product x into y is greater than 1, we already discussed then tan inverse of 2 plus tan inverse of 3 equal to pi minus of tan inverse of reciprocal of this 1 by 2 plus tan inverse of 1 by 3 and plus tan inverse 1. So this is very important. Remember, tan inverse x plus tan inverse y is equal to pi minus of tan inverse of 1 by x plus tan inverse of 1 by y. Whenever x into y is greater than 1. Okay. So because of this identity, we have written tan inverse 2 plus tan inverse 3 and pi minus tan inverse of 1 by 2 plus tan inverse of 1 by 3. Then pi minus of, then now this a equal to 1 by 2, b equal to 1 by 3, EAB is less than 1. So we can apply the property straight away. So tan inverse A plus tan inverse B is tan inverse of A plus B, so divided by 1 minus AB. Here AB is less than 1. Greater than 1 means we must follow. So already greater than 1. In order to reduce the product less than 1, we are supposed to apply this formula. So tan inverse of 1 by 2 plus 1 by 3, so divided by 1 minus the product 1 by 6 and plus tan inverse 1. Then pi minus tan inverse of, so 1 by 2 plus 1 by 3 and 5 by 6, the denominator 1 minus 1 by 6, 5 by 6 plus tan inverse 1, then pi minus tan inverse 1 plus tan inverse 1 after cancellation, and this is the required result, hence approved. We'll discuss now conversion rules in inverse trigonometry function. Look at the first line. Sin inverse of a by b can be written as a tan inverse. To write sin inverse as a tan inverse, so tan inverse of tan theta should be written. Tan theta is the ratio of sin theta to the cos theta. Tan theta is adjacent side to the opposite side to the adjacent side. So opposite side A, adjacent side root of b square minus a square. Because opposite side A already given, hypotenuse B, then adjacent side equal to root of b square minus a square. Why? Because sin inverse of a by b mean we have to take a by b equal to sin theta. A by b sin theta, A is opposite side and b is hypotenuse. The same way we can convert, and in term of cos inverse also, and cos inverse adjacent side to the hypotenuse root of b square minus a square by b. So remember, and theta is written in variable form, that is theta in term of sin inverse, the same theta in term of cos inverse, the same theta in term of tan inverse. So this is a point to be noted. Theta is sin inverse of sin theta, and the same theta is cos inverse of cos theta, and same theta is tan inverse of tan theta. Remember this rule. So see the example 1, sin inverse of 1 by 3. To write sin inverse of 1 by 3, 1 is proportional to opposite side and 3 is proportional to hypotenuse. Then cos inverse of, and the ratio adjacent side to the hypotenuse, adjacent side root of 3 square minus 1, and hypotenuse already 3. So after simplification, cos inverse of root of 8 by 3. The same sin inverse of 1 by 3 to write in term of tan inverse of opposite side to the hypotenuse, lowest form, opposite side to the adjacent side. So the opposite side is proportional to 1, adjacent side is proportional to root of 3 square minus 1. So sin inverse of 1 by 3 is a tan inverse of 1 upon root 8. Look at the second example. Cos inverse 2 by 5. So 2 is proportional to adjacent side and 5 is proportional to hypotenuse. So sin inverse equal to opposite side to the hypotenuse without a common factor. So sin inverse of root of 5 square minus 2 square, so divided by 5. This is simplest method, shortcut form. So sin inverse of root of 21 by 5 is nothing but cos inverse of 2 by 5. The same cos inverse of 2 by 5 to write in tan inverse of opposite side to the adjacent side. So opposite side root of 5 square minus 2 square, because cos theta equal to 2 by 5. And opposite side is 2, that is opposite side root of 5 square minus 2 square, adjacent side is 2. So finally cos inverse of 2 by 5 is obtained as a tan inverse of root of 21 by 2. Using this inversion, so we can do many problems. So one example is given. Prove that sin inverse of 8 by 17 plus sin inverse of 3 by 5 equal to tan inverse of 77 by 36 only by means of conversion method, what we have discussed in the previous slide. Using those ideas we can solve, we can get the result. Sin inverse of 8 by 17 plus sin inverse of 3 by 5 equal to tan inverse of 77 by 36. Prove that sin inverse 8 by 17 plus sin inverse 3 by 5, the sum should be equal to tan inverse 77 by 36 using conversion rule. Using conversion rule, we should write sin inverse of 8 by 17 as a tan inverse. So sin inverse of sin theta equal to 8 by 17, then tan inverse of tan theta, corresponding tan theta, here opposite side 8, for tan also opposite side 8, hypotenuse 17, so here adjacent side should come, the adjacent side root of 17 square minus 8 square, so this is tan inverse of 8 by, so 289 minus 64, 225, 15. So he applied conversion rule on the first term. Sin inverse of 8 by 17 is equal to tan inverse of 8 by 15. And for the second term, sin inverse of 3 by 5, then tan inverse of 3 by 5 sin theta mean opposite side 3, adjacent hypotenuse 5 mean adjacent side root of 5 square minus this 3 square equal to tan inverse of 25 minus 9, 16, so root of 16, 4, 3 by 4. Now sin inverse of 8 by 17 plus sin inverse of 3 by 5 can be written in term of tan inverse. For the first one, tan inverse of 8 by 15, the second one tan inverse of 3 by 4, the x 8 by 15 and y 3 by 4 mean then x and y is less than 1. So 8 into 3, or we simplify between 4 and 8, 2 into 3 is 6, 6 by 15 is less than 1. So we can apply straight formula, and tan inverse of 8 by 15 plus 3 by 4 so divided by 1 minus 8 by 15 into 3 by 4. On further simplification, 15 into 4 60, so 8 times 4 32 plus 15 into 3 45, and 15 into 4 and 40 60 minus 3 times 8 24. Then tan inverse of 40 70 77 60 minus 24, 36. So this is the required result, hence the proof. The another example, based on the conversion rule, prove that cos inverse of 4 by 5 plus cos inverse of 12 by 13 equal to cos inverse of 33 by 65. Prove that cos inverse of 4 by 5 plus cos inverse of 12 by 13 is cos inverse of 33 by 65. Proof. Let us apply conversion rule. Cos inverse of 4 by 5 should be written in terms of tan inverse. Tan inverse of opposite side root of 5 square minus 4 square. Adjacent side is 4. Is tan inverse of 5 square minus 4 square, 25 minus 16, 9, square root of 9, 3 upon 4. The second term, cos inverse of 12 by 13, so tan inverse of adjacent side root of 13 square minus 12 square. Then actually this is opposite side, adjacent side 12. A square minus b square, a minus b 1, so a plus b straight away. So tan inverse of, what is a plus b? 25, so root of 25, 5, so divided by 12. So cos inverse of 12 by 13, tan inverse of 5 by 12, cos inverse of 4 by 5, tan inverse of 3 by 4. So the LHS is equal to, and cos inverse of 4 by 5 plus cos inverse of 12 by 13. Instead of cos inverse of 4 by 5, you can take tan inverse of 3 by 4. And for cos inverse of 12 by 13, tan inverse of 5 by 12, here the product x into y, 3 into 5 and 15, 4 into 12, 48, so less than 1. Then tan inverse of 3 by 4 plus 5 by 12, 1 minus 3 by 4 into 5 by 12, for simplicity, and 3 times 12, 36, and 4 times 15, 4 times 5, 20, that is 56, and 4 times 12 and 48, 48 minus 15. So this is a tan inverse of 30, 56, 8 minus 5, 3, 4 minus 1, 3, 33. Okay, so adjacent side, this is opposite side. Again applying conversion rule, cos inverse of adjacent side to the hypotenuse. So 33 adjacent side, hypotenuse root of 33 square plus 56 square will be equal to cos inverse of 33, then square root of 33 square plus 56 square will be equal to 65. So this is nothing but RHS. So LHS equal to RHS, hence the proof. Hence the proof. The next example, prove that tan inverse 1 by 5 plus a tan inverse 1 by 7 plus a tan inverse 1 by 3 plus a tan inverse 1 by 8 is equal to pi by 4. Here we are going to apply conversion rule as well as associativity, association rule. Show that tan inverse 1 by 5 plus tan inverse 1 by 7 plus tan inverse 1 by 3 plus tan inverse 1 by 8. The total should be pi by 4. So to prove the result, we will rearrange. So tan inverse 1 by 5 plus tan inverse 1 by 7 plus tan inverse 1 by 3 plus tan inverse 1 by 8 is grouped into two groups. So tan inverse 1 by 5 and tan inverse 1 by 7, first group. The remaining two term make it as a second group, tan inverse 1 by 3 plus tan inverse 1 by 8. In every group we have to test whether xy is greater than 1 or less than 1. Yes, are two term x1 y1 x2 y2. Here x1 y1 less than 1 and x2 y2 also less than 1. So we are permitted to apply an identity formula straight away. So tan inverse of 1 by 5 plus 1 by 7, the denominator 1 minus 1 by 5 times 7, 35. And the second term also straight formula because x2 y2 is less than 1. We are assuming 1 by 3 x2 and 1 by 8 y2. So tan inverse of 1 by 3 plus 1 by 8, 1 minus 1 by 3 times 8, 24. On simplification, and tan inverse of 5 plus 7, 12, 35 minus 1, 34, plus tan inverse of 3 plus 8, 11, 24 minus 1, 23. Here x3, y3. So x3 into y3 again less than 1. So 12 into 11, 132 is less than 34 into 23 is a large quantity. So again we can apply the standard result, 12 by 34 plus 11 by 23, so divided by 1 minus 12 by 34 and 11 by 33 is equal to tan inverse of, so we multiply 12 cross multiplication, 12 times 23, 12 into 23 plus 11 into 34 and 34 into 33 minus 132. On this multiplication, the numerator denominator will be 1, so equal. So tan inverse after simplification you can get tan inverse of 1. So tan inverse of 1 is nothing but pi by 4, hence proof. One more example, prove that sin inverse of 12 by 13 plus cos inverse of 4 by 5 plus tan inverse of 63 by 16. This is very important question. We will discuss now. Is equal to pi. Show that the sin inverse 12 by 13 plus cos inverse 4 by 5 plus tan inverse 63 by 16 should be pi. So in order to prove this, applying conversion, sin inverse of 12 by 13 is tan inverse of, so opposite side 12, adjacent side root of 13 square minus 12 square, that is tan inverse of 12 upon, this is difference 25. So 13 a square minus b square, a minus b, a plus b 25, root of 25, 5. And second term, and cos inverse of 4 by 5 is a tan inverse of adjacent side 4, then opposite side 5 square minus 4 square is a tan inverse of and 3 by 4. If we take sum of these two, sin inverse 12 by 13 plus cos inverse 4 by 5 will be equal to tan inverse 12 by 5 plus tan inverse 3 by 4. So remember here x into y is greater than 1. 12 into 3, 36 in the denominator 20, so greater than 1. Then according to identity, this pi minus of tan inverse of this reciprocal 5 by 12 plus tan inverse of the reciprocal 4 by 3. This is very important. Then pi minus then tan inverse of 5 by 12 plus 4 by 3, 1 minus 5 by 12 into 4 by 3. Then pi minus tan inverse of 5 into 3, 15, 4 into 12, 48, and 12 into 3, 36, 5 into 4, 20. Then pi minus tan inverse of 40, 50 and 63, the denominator 16. If we bring the negative term to the left side, then sin inverse of 12 by 13 plus cos inverse of 4 by 5 plus tan inverse of 63 by 16 will be equal to pi. This is a required result, so hence the proof. Hence the proof. So my dear students, we have discussed and first part of inverse trigonometry function. We will continue the second part in the second session, that is video class 2, in the next session. So thank you student. Thank you for watching this class. Thank you once again.